friends, MD Vegan. I make a chocolate cake today with a double layer chocolates. White chocolate on the bottom and dark chocolate pudding cream on top. So 2 chocolate layers. It's still winter. We need chocolate to warm up. It's healthy too. Yeah, not too much, but once in a while there are health benefits. Proven. So don't worry about chocolate. I make my own after all. That's even better, of course. I know what's in it. So the cake is here, not too large. Yeah, it's a medium cake, not even 20 centimeters. So you know the measurements, maybe 18 centimeters or so. Laying with parchment paper and a very good form here, the spring form. It doesn't pick, so you don't need to put fat on top. It's a good quality. I had these bad qualities, very inexpensive, also good, but the quality is not so good, and the color from this form, they may pick to the cake. Not so nice if you want to serve it to others. I don't know. So this one is very good. So, but first I begin with the bottom, the crust. The crust is with almonds. That's my standard crusts. I always come back to that. It's really perfect. You know, the food processor fitted with the S plate here. My tool for it. Since I have this, I can make live bakery. Before it was really hard. But this is really a game changer. For you might make these cakes, and if you want to have your friends and family try vegan food, I found the best thing you can do is make a nice, easy raw food cake, vegan of course, and they will be amazed. They're really easy ones. This one's a little bit more complicated, but they would like it definitely too. And there's no surprise. Oh, vegan cake! Wow, you know. Okay, I have here 1.5 cups of almonds. Not too much, because the small spring form. That means the small spring form. That means I don't need that much. You want a thicker crust? Take more. It's not necessary. I begin processing the almonds by themselves. Only almonds. The others, the dates, come later. But it will take more time when I put the dates in first. So, step first is a coarse meal. And I processed a little bit longer, so I have this kind of coarseness. Yeah, this is what I want. And when I put the dates in from the very beginning, what I didn't, when I did that, that would take a much more longer time to get this kind of texture. Yeah, the dates make it difficult to get it finer. But now I can put in the dates. Oh, I didn't show you. Maybe I have a dozen dates or so. These kind of dates, you see, these are pitted dates, medium size, yeah, but pretty soft. Yeah, a dozen or so. Doesn't matter. The more dates, the softer the pie, the crust. And the sweeter, of course, and the easier to make it a sticky dough. But 12 is pretty much for this. For 1.5 cups of almonds, 12 is pretty much. But it's an easy way to get a sticky dough. So this is a tablespoon of cinnamon to give it a nice extra flavor. I like this as a standard. On other cakes, I take lemon zest. It's also very nice. But for this chocolate one, I would rather have the cinnamon note here. So I have one more process to get this sticky dough. Sticky dough is done. If you are a beginner with live bakery, you might not be experienced with making these doughs. Yeah, here I show you. This is a sticky dough. I press it together and it sticks together. That's why it's called sticky dough. And so I put that now into the spring form at the bottom. First I fit in everything just as is. Yeah. And then I begin to press it into the spring form, and this is in the bottom. That is important because it has to keep together. Yeah. And that's why I have to press it down firmly. But before I do that, I spray it evenly, because now I determine the shape of my crust. And in this case, I have just an even crust. I could also make like a tart when the crust comes up on the sides or so. In this case, I just need a very plain form where the chocolate will be seen on the outside. Yeah. First, I've spread it evenly now, and then once it has the shape I wish for, I just begin to press it down with the weight of my body here, with the knuckles. And then I come back in a moment and show you. This takes a little bit. You don't need to watch all of it, but it has to be firm for cutting out pieces. Oh, my crust is done, I would say. Show you what it looks like. This is my crust. See? Pretty firm. And, well, that's the first step, and it's always a little bit of challenge in the beginning, I know. I was never sure when I made my first live bakery. Wasn't sure how to process and so. But by the time you got used to it, it's not that difficult. You see when the processor works. You look from above into it. You see the texture begins to change, and you already see what happens, and then you can stop and try. So it's not difficult. Yeah, just be brave. So second layer, so the first layer on the crust is a white chocolate cream. Very simple. The base is cashews, and to make it softer, I put some bananas into the cashews. Here, from the volume, pretty much the same amount. Yeah, cashews, bananas. This makes it softer. You want to make your own chocolate. This is then it becomes a light chocolate with nuts. Without nuts, a more darker chocolate. I want to have a light chocolate, softer a little bit, not too firm. For a cake, yeah, a little bit creamier, and then so I take some bananas and make it a little bit more softer. Yeah. So cashews, bananas, and blending cashews by themselves would also be not so easy because it's too dry. It gets a flour. But with the bananas, it will be easy. I show you. It should work now very easily. Let's see. Just to start, I have to blend one more time, but here now where you see this here on the sides of the blender is some of the bananas and the cashews, and that is what I want, because what's really important for the white chocolate is of course the cacao butter. This is the most expensive part here, cacao butter. That is what makes the chocolate here. The cacao butter, for a white cacao chocolate, I need just cacao butter. You see, it's liquefied on a water bath. This is a hot water here, and this metal container fits exactly on the cup, so very easy to handle. And in short time, the cacao butter melts. Yeah. So, and when I put the cacao butter from the beginning inside, it might be the blender throws the cacao butter on the sides. The sides are cold, so the cacao butter firms up on the sides and will never go into the cream. So that's bad. So I have a little coverage now on the sides. The cacao butter cannot touch the sides. Yeah? It will all go into the cacao cream. Let's see. So I have here maybe a half cup or so, not too much. Just put it on top. And now I blend again, and that should work now to get my first layer. Now I will help a little bit and push the sides down, because there's a lot of cream on the sides. Now it's all together, the cream together with the cashew nuts and the bananas. So I will push everything down, help it turn over, and then one more time to have a nice homogeneous chocolate cream. One more time. Easy part. Just bananas, cashews, cacao butter, blending. Let me taste it. Looks nice. Cacao butter. It's really warming. This is now, yeah, it's a little bit, of course, together with the cashews and bananas, doesn't have this strong, pure, warming fat effect. It's still there. The cacao butter has a wonderful, pleasant flavor. I like to make my own chocolate, really, it's so easy. And I want to put this cream, you show what it looks like, that's what it looks like. Put this cream as the first layer on top of the bottom, the crust. And that's easy. It's easy, it's nice and creamy. And quickly put everything on the crust. Now, this blender has an advantage because it's pretty broad around the blades on the bottom of the blender. And then I can get in with a scraper and it's pretty easy to get the cream out of the blender. When you have a smaller blender, at the bottom especially, that is not so broad, then it might be difficult to get the cream out because you cannot reach as easily into the blades here, in between the blades. So, but never mind, just a short notice. So I just spread it now evenly. It's a nice layer. It's just a centimeter or so, just a little bit. This white chocolate is very intense, very heavy, yeah, as a nutrient, as a food, as an ingredient. So I don't need that much. Yeah, just here, one small layer. And I used picked this the white chocolate cream because on top is a very special cream. I'll show you in a moment. More like a pudding. Here, this is my. I quickly show you the first layer here. You see, not that thick, but it begins to firm up already. And now, on the second layer, the top is persimmon pudding. Persimmon chocolate pudding. I have 3 ripe persimmons here. I made this recipe before, yeah, for a smaller amount, just to have a chocolate pudding. And I thought, wow, what happens if I make it in a cake? Because sometimes I take some recipes through the food categories because I learned something about an ingredient, like a persimmon here. This is the main ingredient today, is the persimmon chocolate cream cake. But and then I learned something, I found out something about the texture, and I make it into another recipe. And now the persimmon even made it into my cake. So I will come back in a moment. This might have to cool down a little bit in the freezer, but I also have to use my blender again, and I will cleanse it and put it in the freezer and come back in a moment and show you how I make my second layer, the persimmon cacao pudding layer. In a moment I will be back. So I cleansed my blender. I can use it again. This has been in the cooler, in the freezer for, well, a couple of minutes. Here it's firm enough to put the second layer, you see. I can put it aside and do the final steps for the second layer. And this will be a persimmon cream with chocolate powder. I have these ripe persimmons, I show you again, here. And if they are liquid, I was so ripe, you see this kind of ripeness here, very ripe. They can be even riper. So when you buy them, you bring them home in firm, and then you let them sit for days, can take some days, until they get really ripe and can pull up the blossom very easily. Then they're really ripe. And even if that is the case, if they are pretty liquid, almost liquid, you blend them and they get firm again. So that gave me the idea to try to make a pudding, because this firm texture is so interesting. And I found if I put some coconut cream on top, and I blend these persimmons with coconut cream, then they actually have a very nice and wonderful, nice and fluffy texture. Yeah, these are maybe 1.5 cups of coconut cream. Yeah, 1.5 cups maybe. Yeah. And how to make your coconut cream yourself, if you want to, you can watch it in a video. I have it under this video. It's a link. under this video, and then you can look it up. You can make your own coconut cream. It's a little bit more work, but it's worth it. Yeah, it's delicious. Yeah. And you like a coconut, you have to crack it open, and so it's a lot of fun. Yeah. Yeah. I have here some dates to make it sweeter. These are 7 dates here. I can just quickly count it. And these are soft dates, pitted dates, medium size, not the big ones, but they have a wonderful flavor. And to make it a little bit sweeter, and to give it the cacao note, of course I have 2 tablespoons of cacao powder here. 2 tablespoons, or I know 3 tablespoons. For each persimmon I have 2 teaspoons. So to say, that is all in all here 3 tablespoons. And a little of cinnamon. Cinnamon is perfect together with persimmon. It's a wonderful flavor together with persimmon. It's perfect. Yeah. So I have my ingredients together. And I will take now some time for blend it. Yeah. But I guess for this power blender, no problem. And it's not too much for the blender. Yeah. If you get it completely full, it might be a little bit much, even for the power blenders. But if it's this size, and it's okay, I guess. Let's see. Blender dance. So wait a second, I see sometimes with these large quantities you have these little residues here, and you can help it turn over a little bit. That's very easy. I just take this tool and help it scrape down a little bit. It's a small thing, not a biggie, not even important, but to make it nicer, yeah, to have everything also incorporated. Already see the texture, very nice texture, fluffy, very good. And a little bit more. I hope it's creamy now. Should be. I will taste it. Looks nice. Let me taste it. Oh, like a mousse almost. Let's see. Super light. It is still a persimmon flavor. Wonderful light flavor. It is so nice with hot chocolate. I'll quickly show you what it looks like when I pour it into the form. You see? It's just showing you what it looks like. This nice and creamy fluffy texture. You see, I put it all in. Take a scraper, get everything out, and then I put it in the refrigerator and let it sit overnight. I hope it firms up, because it's coconut cream. That's why I took it. If you put coconut cream in the refrigerator overnight, it firms up, and together with the persimmon, the dates, the cacao powder, I guess it should work and come out as a nice cake, a nice filling that is firm and can be cut into pieces. I will see that, and it looks nice, but it's pretty runny now. But it begins to firm up already. I'm pretty positive it will work. But I will show you that, and for you it's a moment, and for me it will be overnight, and I'll come back and I'll show you this wonderful pie. See what it looks like here now. You can see the form is not yet full, but that's a nice quantity. It's pretty high. That will be nice and fluffy, fruity persimmon chocolate pie. In a moment I come back. There we go, it's one day later. So yesterday night and now it's noon, a little bit after, so we'll see. Looks firm, not too firm, but so it is not a firm, it's still a creamy filling, that's for sure. But here you see what I did. I used this foil to put it on top. I always do that with my raw fruit cakes because when I put them in the refrigerator without this, maybe just putting a plate on top, because they don't need the foil, then the puddles build on top. Here they have some water puddles here from condensing water on this top, and that's not so nice because the surface looks with little spots on it, and so. But with the foil there's no water, so that's very nice, and it looks fresher. So let's see now if I want to open it now. I have the springform, and springform I have to open it here on the side, and sometimes the springform tears the cake apart, and I have to have a knife. But I will see. Maybe this form is and the filling is firm enough, and the form is good enough to prevent that without having to use a knife. Let's see. All right, check carefully. I don't know. It looks not bad. It doesn't look bad, but maybe should just try. Yeah. Hey, it's cool. Yeah, good. I don't need a knife. Well, a little bit. It's a soft filling. Ooh, yeah, creamy. So a little bit knife, just at some spots. Yeah. But it's okay. I will taste it now. Wow. Mousse au chocolat. Wow. Let's see. Open it. Yes. So I will reuse the foil. Yeah. When I cut a piece out of the cake and I put the cake back into the refrigerator, I put the foil back on, so I don't need to throw it away immediately. Yeah. And of course I use recycle foil, of course, it's better. So hey, that looks amazing. I make it a little bit nicer here around. Yeah. A little bit straight. Looks a bit nicer. Very soft, very nice. Wow. I'll show you the cake now. Before I cut a piece, I show you. It looks so nice. White and brown chocolate. See? So 3 colors. The bottom, the crust, the white chocolate, and the filling with the soft chocolate persimmon cream. Fruity chocolate cream. I mean, it's not so often that chocolate is good with fruit. Yeah. Oftentimes fruit a little bit too sour for chocolate, for my flavor. There are exceptions, of course. We know classical examples, but in general, chocolate and fruit. Well, sometimes, yeah. But this one is really perfect. The persimmon is the perfect fruit for chocolate. I had no idea. Now let's say I will cut a piece out. That is the test, the final test. Every cake has to pass. Let's see. So I can put it into the middle. Very soft, the filling. It's perfect. It's perfect. If that works, if the piece of cake keeps together, this one is really perfect. Let's see. Carefully cutting out a piece. I have to cut through, of course, the bottom. Otherwise it won't work to get the piece out. Slowly, slowly. So far, so good. Very nice. And some cakes, I assume this one will be the same, they firm up even more in the days to come. So if I cut now a piece out of it, it holds together, I assume. It looks very nice. But it might be even nicer on the following day, when it firms up a little bit. Yeah, especially the brown cacao persimmon cream. but let's see. You see, pretty nice. Nothing remains almost on the knife. That means it's a good sign. Yeah. So again, cutting into the middle. That is deep down onto the bottom. And now slowly, step by step, small cuts, small steps, so I get everything on the bottom from the crust. I want to make a nice photo, take a nice photo, so otherwise I would, when I have friends I would be there, I wouldn't be so careful, you know. But for the photo, I want to have a nice piece, perfect shape as possible, when possible, and that's why I'll be a little bit careful now. I will show you a perfect piece too. You're my guests now. Let's see now, I take it out. Let's see, now it will happen. And, oops, careful, oops. Ah, wow, what a cake, what a cake, wow. Oh, friends, this is a really exceptional good, really. Look at that. What do you say? Oh, I will have a piece right away. I have to try this. It looks amazing. Perfect. Wow. Yeah. Hey, I'm so happy. I didn't know. Every time you make a cake for the first time, I make it always for the first time. But now and then I make a cake for the same cake again for friends or so. When for example, I am invited to a birthday party and they have a desire for a certain cake, I make that cake again because they know my videos, some of them, and their favorite cakes, I make it again. But usually I make the same cake and I make another cake, and then I never know, does it work? Because the thing is always the filling. To get the filling firm is the crucial thing. If the filling runs away, cake didn't work. I have to make it all over. I have to take off the filling again, put more cream in or whatever it takes to make it firm. And so I'm very happy. You notice I'm very excited now. The cream worked. And yeah, I have thought about this for some time. How would I make the persimmon cake, yeah? The persimmon chocolate cake, yeah? It worked. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoy. I'm very happy. If you like my video, give me a thumbs up, subscribe, and be vegan on YouTube. Have another video, another recipe every single day. And find me on Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, and Twitter. Hey, this is my afternoon snack for the day. And I have a little book here outside, you see, Raw Food Nutrition Handbook by Karen Dina. And Karen Dina is an amazing scientist, a biologist. She has been vegan with her husband, Rick Dina, for more than 30 years now. And they summed up all the science about raw food and in this book. And there's also a predecessor from another great author. They have built on that. But I started here, I finally found this book, and I was really amazed the knowledgeable while they are, and it's very interesting how raw food diet is understood. There's a lot of science of it, but it is not complete. We learn about food combining that we don't really know about food combining scientifically. So they say, that is my biggest takeaway, that there are different kinds of raw food diets. There are different kinds of fruitarian diets, and it doesn't have to be 100% raw. The science says up to 70%, for example. There are some health benefits of raw, but not beyond 70%. By now we know, for example, by Dr. Greger, that there is even a knowledge that raw food diets have amazing healing benefits. So health benefits in the first time of the healing process, they can be very helpful. But long time, that is all different. They don't seem to have really much, they're not doing so much better than cooked food. That seems to be a myth. Yes, well, this raw food nutrition handbook is really special because it goes into the raw food science. whereas others are more interested in a plant-based diet, advocating usually whole food plant-based, because most of the people are doing that. But raw food science, there is too some, and they have some good arguments, and it seems to be very personal who does which kind of raw food diet. But in general, it doesn't seem to be super healthy as opposed to cooked diets, as long as they are whole and plant-based, fresh food. Yeah, but this is just a little distraction, not so important. More important, of course, that we all become vegan. Plant-based food, whole plant-based food, that is important to be healthy and to save the planet and to free the animals. So I will enjoy that cake now. Maybe you will enjoy something similar. Maybe you will join and try this cake. I would be happy to hear about you. And well, see you soon.